what was his helper's name?
Yeah, the singer
Cliff Barrows.
Cliff Barrows.
Yeah, Cliff Barrows rented one of the apartments.
And that's when Carlton Truax, probably, you met him at that process, huh?
Yeah, Carlton, he moved into one of the very first apartments we had. Yeah.
So now, how long did it take you to now? First of all, about how much money did you have?
We didn't have much. In fact, Dr. Houston, that owned the buildings, he loaned us some money to do some of the remodeling and some of the plumbing and the carpenter work that needed to be done. And then a lot of the Bob Jones students helped with that too. And we rented a one-bedroom apartment for $45 and a two-bedroom apartment for I think it was $55
a month.
Yeah.
Well, how much were you paying on the actual lease of the?
I paid $300 a month for the actual lease.
Now, did you get both the bottom and the top section at first?
You mean the buildings?
Yeah, you had
The three buildings.
on the bottom.
Yeah, we got all three buildings.
On the bottom.
Yeah, they were 110 feet long and 22 feet wide. Yeah.
And 291 was just a two-little lane road going down through there.
That's right.
And of course 385 was not there. And now, was Justin Minyard car dealership there then?
No, they came in later.
And what was the deal? There used to be some kind of amusement park with a train over there where 385 is now. There used to be a little bitty train that people would get into.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can't remember quite what that did. It never was operative when I remember. But we used to go in there and go inside those buildings and sit in the trains and things.
Yeah.
I'd have to, maybe some of the brothers and sisters would remember a little more about that. But was that actually an amusement park back in those days? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was more. A lot of with Bob Jones University coming to Greenville, because back in those days, Greenville was an industrial town. Just about all the business was textile.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, about all the businesses were textile, and there was an awful lot of the. In fact, there were very few apartments available, and that's the reason that our apartments we didn't have any trouble keeping them filled up.
Well, now, how long you had those three buildings on the side of Lowndes Hill, but later on you got the upper horseshoe.
The ones up in the right hand side. We got those. It was at least 4 or 5 years after we got the ones down below.
Well, I never remember living either in the old house on 3809 East North Street as a baby child, nor do I remember us staying down in the lower section. But okay, here we have a letter that Mom sent, and the post date on this is October the 20th, 1947.
Well, that would have been shortly after we came down.
Really, it sounds like you would have, you guys would have. Now, it's interesting, she has a real pretty Bob Jones letterhead there. You won't be able to see that too clearly on the thing, but it has the embossed paper there.
If you're going to read it?
I'm going to try to read some of it.
You want me to turn this?
No, I can see clearly. And another thing, we've gone from 2 cents stamp, you won't be able to see that too much. We've gone from a 2 cent stamp to a 3 cent stamp.
Yeah, yeah. There for a while, the postage went up pretty fast, 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, well, it was and it was 2 cents back over here in 1926. In 27 it was 2 cents.
Yeah.
And in 1931 it was 2 cents. But here we are. But I presume that she is writing, it may become apparent who she's writing to. Dear folks. Now, whether she's probably writing to her parents most likely.
I think that would have been her mother and daddy.
Again, we send you our love and best wishes. How are you? Can you see Mom writing this? Now let's see, Mom in 19...
She did a lot of letter writing.
You guys got... now, what year was Mom born in?
She was... she was 3 years older than I was.
Okay, so she was born in 1917.
I think that's right.
So, when she wrote this letter, she was 30 years old.
Okay.
Again, we send you our love and best wishes. How are you? Last Sunday must have been an important day, for Lois told me about it too. I know the good times we had when the Hollinger, the Snaveleys, the Stellmans, Hershey's, and the Whitmers spent a day together. I'm so glad you don't worry about us anymore. It isn't so bad being a daughter 600 miles away from home when she writes and tells you everything important. When she loves and endeavors to serve your Lord and King with all her heart, soul, and mind. Is it? Personally, I'm very happy and content here in Greenville. When I get a letter from you once a week and letters from other Lancaster County friends now and then, for your benefit and for the children's sake, I hope God will make it possible for us to spend Christmas in Pennsylvania. Maurice's vacation begins December the 19th and ends December the 28th. Now, where were you working? Sears?
That must have been when I was working at Sears.
Well, now that's pretty amazing they'd let you off it during Christmas. Now, this would have been in October of 1947.
Well, I don't remember how long it was.
What was your first job when you got into Greenville?
Sears was my first, because I had a lot of work to do on the apartments.
Well, that's pretty amazing that you got off from Sears from December the 19th through the 28th over that Christmas. Of course, you sold heating and stuff. That's not that big of a...
The reason I went to Sears, got to work at Sears, was I was buying a lot of our plumbing equipment, the plumbing supplies, the things we needed for the apartments. And I would get down there every several days and get some piping or some fittings or some things of the plumbing for the apartments. And one day I was down there, and the fellow running the plumbing department said to me, he said, we need somebody, you seem to know this plumbing stuff real well. He said, we need someone to manage this plumbing department. He said, and you've been coming in and we have gotten acquainted with you, and we'd like you to consider coming to work with us. So
you were going to school, running these apartments, and working at Sears in your part-time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's Eshleman. There's a bunch of workaholics, I think. Well, now, okay. Well, we'll read. There is a chance that we may come home. Don't count on it too strong. I wouldn't want to disappoint you. If we come home, may I bring my living room furniture along back?
Yeah, that was some of our furniture we had back in Pennsylvania. We gave to Mother and to the Whitmers because
Oh,
they had that big farmhouse,
and she wanted to bring that back to South Carolina.
Yeah, we needed it for our apartment because we didn't have any money to buy much furniture, and that's the reason she mentioned that in there.
She asked them, will the parting we be as hard on you folks as the last one was? And I heard that story where Grandpa Whitmer was so upset about you taking his daughter to Greenville that he got on his horse and...
Yeah, he wouldn't give us goodbye. He got on the horse and rode out through the field when we were leaving, because back in those days there were very few Mennonites that left that Mennonite area. We were one of the first Mennonites to move away, and we got a lot of criticism, both from my folks and from Thelma's folks.
We will consider Greenville home for the next 4 years, I believe. Perhaps after that we may be living in Quarryville again. Who knows? Dottie Skink, Dottie Shinck, will have some heartaches, I'm sure. Who is Dottie?
She was Thelma's cousin.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't remember their last name.
Shink. Anyway, it's only natural for a mother to be more concerned over the children to whom she gave birth when for their mates. I'm sure Aunt Anna's human nature will at times get the best of her. Who's Aunt Anna's? Who's Aunt Anna?
Susanna?
It says Anna, A-N-N-A apostrophe S.
I don't remember who that was.
It may have been Susanna. It might have been a short for her. I don't know. Well, that her human nature will get the best of her at times. I never have seen a person yet living so near their Savior that selfishness didn't pop up now and then. There is one newlywed couple living here at Preacher's Boy's Court from Philadelphia. He is a nice young fella, but never had any brothers or sisters. There's something missing in his personality, and he can't rough it like the rest of us can. You have an idea who she's talking about from Philadelphia?
I don't remember, because it was a new experience for us having those apartments.
Yeah. Thanks for giving me sisters. There is more trouble keeping peace when the children number more than one, but they still have a better opportunity to find happiness. Do we wish we had Lancaster County sweet potatoes? We sure would enjoy some good fried sweet potatoes. Well, we can't have everything we would enjoy. We had some French fries today for dinner. Sweet potatoes would have tasted better. Perhaps we can buy some sweet potatoes sometime. A couple of the fellows didn't pay their rent yet, and brother, we have to count our pennies.
Boy, yeah, that's for sure.
Now, that